Hello everybody, how is it going? Now in this video, I will be talking about how self-reassurance statements can actually block the unconditional acceptance and all the rational thinking that you are doing via your disputing from sinking in. So, quite often on coaching calls, I can hear people's disputing. I listen to their disputing and I say, hey, that's excellent. I can see that intellectually and philosophically and academically, you are understanding the rational thinking. You are understanding the concepts and the principles from the books that you're reading. And I can tell you're getting it. I can tell that you're beginning to grasp it just by how you're wording it, the conviction, what you're writing down. Excellent. But the question always is, okay, so I'm starting to understand it. I can see the benefits of rational thinking. I can see how that can help me. I can see the pros of accepting myself unconditionally. I can see that. But why hasn't it gone in yet? Why am I still stuck? Why aren't I thinking it in that way? Well, there's two answers to that. And the first answer, I don't like giving, but I have to give it because it's the reality. And as a coach, it's the most frustrating thing to advise, but it's true. And that's the time and patience. It will take time. It will take patience. View it as a lag. You could change your thinking. You could dispute really well. And you could, like I said, you can start really grasping it. But in order for your nervous system to reset itself, shall I say, and for the beliefs to catch up with emotions and sensations and how you feel, that's going to take time. There's always that lag, and that takes time. And there is no time frame. There is no correct time period. For me personally, I don't mean to scare you, but I've got to be realistic. I would say it took about 18 months. I'd say 12 months to 18 months to 2 years. So 1 to 2 years for it to start to sort of catch up. So my feelings started to then align with my new beliefs. And I was talking with real conviction. I was talking like I really understood it. But initially, the guilt and shame was still high. The anxiety was still high. The panic sensations were still high. I was still feeling just rather depressed day in, day out until I'd say about 18 months to 2 years. That started to catch up. I mean, that's just reality. You can make great strides. You really, really can. But I'm just trying to show you the marathon approach, the long term, the long range approach of recovery. Okay, so you've got the time and patience element, all right? But you've also got the self-reassurance. Okay, so let me explain what I mean. So let's say, for example, you have harm OCD and you had an intrusive thought. And you could be doing your disputing, you can be doing that on a regular basis. You could be breaking it down, looking at all your fears, looking at all your irrational beliefs, turning them into rational beliefs, doing rather regular disputations on paper, reading all the books. You could be doing all that, right? But when you get that intrusive thought, if harm-related intrusive thought, and you reply back to it with self-reassurance by stating, oh no, that's just my OCD. Oh no, that's the last thing I do. Oh no, I'd never do that. Oh no, that's just OCD. That's just a thought. I'm not my thought. Oh no, this one is just OCD, right? That self-reassurance statement is blocking the unconditional acceptance and the rational thinking from sinking in. Because what you're doing, you're applying to your intrusive thoughts with reassurance, which is actually reinforcing the OCD loop. It's giving OCD power. It's allowing OCD to gather pace and build momentum. Okay, so we need to break free from that loop. So when we have that intrusive thought, there needs to be no internal talk back. There needs to be no neutralization, no arguing, no disproving, no diffusing the thought, okay? And that will be anxiety provoking. That will induce all kinds of emotions. Of course it will, right? Because we spent years and years and years, me personally, when I had an intrusive thought, it was neutralize, disprove, get rid. That was the approach, but that didn't work. I spent years doing that. Neutralize, disprove, get rid, get rid, get rid. That just allowed OCD to come back even stronger. And it will catch me off guard and think, wait, that thought is even more intense. That's even more taboo. That's even more intrusive, right? So it kept up in its game, okay? Because I kept giving it fuel by trying to extinguish it, by trying to get rid of it, okay? So what I had to do was allow the thought to come in, allow it to be there, and be very vigilant of my self-reassurance statements. So no longer was I saying, oh, that's just my OCD. Oh no, that's the last thing I want. Oh no, I don't actually want that. No, that's the last thing, right? Because although it feels like automatic and a natural thing to say, it's actually fueling the OCD cycle, okay? So when you are looking at your unconditional self-acceptance, when you are looking at your rational thinking and your new perspectives and your new philosophies just in life and towards yourself and other people, there's no point having that on paper if that when you're triggered or when you're having these intrusive thoughts, you're doing the opposite by diffusing it. That's going against acceptance. That's going against thinking rationally, okay? And quite often, and I say it as cutthroat as this because it's true. It's true. When you think about this, right? You know, although it can seem innocent when we talk back to thoughts, and let's say an intrusive memory pops in. It used to happen with me with relevant false memory OCD. Many people that I coach, we speak about this, where OCD chucks the kitchen sink at you and you can feel bombarded and totally harassed by OCD of what it's throwing at you. It's throwing everything at me, right? That's how it can feel, right? But the problem was I kept replying with, oh, no, that's just OCD. No, I haven't done anything wrong there. I'm not a bad person. That's just OCD. No, this one's just OCD, right? How many words is that? Nope. This one is just OCD, right? So those 6 words. Now, although they seem harmless, although they seem innocent, but those 6 words means you stay stuck forever. Think what I'm saying there. Those 6 words, nope, this is just my OCD, means you stay stuck forever and you are taking OCD to the grave. And people are like, oh, that's a bit extreme. What do you mean? Well, I'll explain what I mean. Because as soon as you have that intrusive thought and that intrusive memory, the intrusive image, whatever it may be, as soon as you then self-reassure and provide yourself with a self-reassurance statement and a mantra, you think it brings you relief, which it may do short term, but in the long term, it's actually prolonging that cycle. OCD comes back with force next time. It fiercely wants revenge from your reassurance, and it comes back even stronger. Okay, that's what it will do. And you're just reinforced in that loop. So instead of saying, oh no, this one is just my OCD. Oh, this is definitely OCD. This one isn't real. I'm not a bad person. I've never done anything wrong. No, that's just OCD. Although that feels the natural thing to say, it's actually fueling the OCD loop, okay? So we have to get very used to disengaging. We have to get very used to letting that thought come in, that intrusive memory, intrusive image, whatever it may be, getting used to wearing it, allowing it to be there, and not having to engage. Now, I slipped up many times. I'm a human being. You see me today and you probably think, oh, this guy must have just walked through it like a breeze. He must have found recovery easy. Must have been a walk in the park for him. No, it certainly wasn't. I slipped up many times because naturally, at every ounce of my body screaming, just disprove that thought, son. Just get rid of it. Just neutralize it. Just shake your head when you have it. Just reassure yourself. Just say, no, this is just OCD. You are not a bad person. You're not a bad person. No, this is just my OCD. I was my body was screaming at me. My brain was screaming, just say that, reply, talk back to it, argue, disprove, get rid. But until things started to change, then I was going to be stuck forever. I had to allow it to be there, keep working on my beliefs, keep sharpening up my rational thinking, keep understanding and trying to adopt unconditional self-acceptance. But the reaction in the moment is where recovery is won or lost. Those are the moments that matter, is that when we get tested, it's how you're then reacting to it. If you're going into that mental solving, that mental analysis, that mental replaying, then OCD's got you right where it wants you. Like imagine you're in a boxing ring. OCD's got you on the ropes and it's throwing punches at you. It's got you right where it wants you, okay? Because you're provoking it, you're bringing it on with the reassurance, okay? It don't last. Every time I just thought, if I can just disprove this intrusive thought, then I can be at peace. And then I can go and live my life anxiety, panic and guilt free. Little did I know, that was just prolonging the suffering. Okay, we got to think about that. And that's with every theme. I just used harm OCD as an example. I used real event false memory OCD as an example. But every theme. Whenever OCD comes in rather intrusively and intrudes on your day with a thought, an image, an urge, a sensation, whatever it may, a memory, an event, whatever it may be, our reaction to it is key. Be careful of those self-reassurance statements. They block the new rational philosophy that you're trying to embody with the calls, with the books, with the disputing. They block that. And it actually, because it's you intercepting, it's your intervention there of, no, that's just my OCD, is stopping that unconditional acceptance from sinking in those tough times. You won't even notice it. You won't, because when you stop the self-reassurance, your anxiety will actually skyrocket. And this is how OCD pulls you back in, because it's like, well, if your anxiety is skyrocketing, surely it's not working. Surely you're not getting any better. So you start going down the disproving, neutralizing again. Doesn't work. You'll stay trapped doing that. Please, you'll stay stuck doing that. Okay, so allow the anxiety to increase, allow the discomfort to rise, allow the symptoms to skyrocket, but it's all about bringing down that self-reassurance and allowing the new thinking to gradually seep into place without the intervention of, no, it's just my OCD. No, that one's different. No, this one is definitely OCD because I'm not this and I'm not that, and that's definitely an OCD thought. Doesn't work, okay? Doesn't work. You're just gonna prolong that cycle. If you are interested in one-to-one coaching calls where we can go deeper into this and see how it's operating with you, because it can be quite nuanced, it can be quite complex. OCD is a very intricate disorder. It moves in many different ways. It operates in very mechanical ways, and it can find ways through the back door. It's very crafty, it's very sneaky. And if you would like that help to look into your fears and see why you're still stuck and see if you are engaging in self-reassurance statements, then please email phil@ocdrecovery.com. The WhatsApp number is also in the description of this video down below. My name's Sam. You have Rob, Nick, Elliot, Momin, and Gemma. Hope I haven't forgotten anybody. Or doing coaching calls. So get in touch with Phil and we can book you in as soon as we possibly can on our schedules. Anyway, guys, take care. No more self-reassurance statements, because each time you do that, you're blocking your new rational thinking from sinking in. Important to remember, and you can do it, guys. Wear the discomfort that brings.